everyone, my name is Nicola. I am simply a stitcher. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, it's wonderful to have you, and if you are returning, thank you for coming and spending some time with me today. So today's video is going to be Stitch with me. This is one with a chat element, and as you can see, I'm working on my stitching shelf. This is artwork by Aimee Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and I'm stitching it 1/1 full cross. As it stands at the moment, I've done 140 stitches today, and I'm going to see how far we can get in this next hour or so, and I will be going through your comments. So just before we start, in the top right hand corner, if you hover over, a letter I will appear. If you click on that, it will show you the videos of how I start and end my threads and how I work on even weave. So if you're interested in that, then do pop over to those videos and have a look. So I'm going to be keeping the camera quite high today because I'm working across this section. So there's not much I'm able to zoom in, I don't think. Probably about there. And I will try not to go out of frame. But this is kind of a bit of a confetti area that I've got at the moment. Anyway, so I hope we're all keeping well. It's been another busy and quite stressful week here, I'm not going to lie. I touched on a couple of issues that I'd had on my floss tube, which I'll come around to talking about later because there's some comments. But yeah, it's there's going to be some tough times coming up, I'm pretty sure. But hey, my stitching will keep me sane, won't it? It's a Friday morning. I'm the only one in the house. I've just turfed the last one out. I have work today. I didn't work per se yesterday. I did my annual volunteering stint. We have a couple of volunteer days per year allocated to us, and I went to a local food bank and food distribution centre, and me and another 5 of my colleagues spent a pleasant day. It was one I went to last year, you may remember, and we opted to go back this year because we all felt it was worthwhile and we felt like we were making a difference. And it was quite physical work because we were sorting out donations into the food bank and then picking orders. Well, I say orders, they're not really orders, they're requests for food donations, which were going out to schools, community centres, churches, that kind of thing. And yeah, we spent the day doing that. And then by the time I'd finished that, I came home because it's not far from me. It's about half an hour on a bus that stops everywhere. But you know, in the car it's about 15 minutes maybe. So yeah, I rather enjoyed my day. Come home, had a couple of hours with some stitching, and then I had my slimming class. Much better this week. Feel like I'm back on track. I've lost 2.5 pounds, so that's the £0.5 pound that I gained, plus another 2, which leaves me with now 28 pounds or 2 stone to get to my goal. So that is what I'm working at now. I don't have any model stitching at the moment. Model stitching was sent back this week, so I'm just waiting for my next project. I've had contact from the solicitors this week, giving me their first bill. Even before they've done any work, they've asked for an upfront payment, and it's quite large. I had an appointment with mediation this week and ended up putting in a complaint because the appointment didn't go ahead. So that's been reappointed for me for later today. And if there's any further issues, I will be demanding a refund and the mediation because it's ridiculous. I paid them up front at their request, and I was sat waiting at 3 o'clock on Wednesday at the allotted time for the appointment, and nobody called. I was emailing the office, and about 3:45 I'd phoned the office because I'd had no reply from the emails. And I know it wasn't the lady in the office's fault, but I did let fly. I was extremely, I've just started that with two threads and it's one. I was extremely unhappy, and the lady there she was very good, I have to say. Took on board what I said, resolved. Well, I said resolved. I didn't get the mediation that day, but she was able to reappoint the mediation, and I did a profuse apology. But it appears that the mediator that I had has a digital diary, and for some reason that diary had been wiped because the following appointment had also phoned up and complained that nobody had called them either. And she said, you know, it's no excuse to blame IT, but this is what's happened. So all being well, that appointment will go ahead today, and that will be another job ticked off the list. Next job is to get an estate agent round, get them to value the property. And see what it's worth. But anyway. So that was my week so far. So I have some comments which I will be going through, and then what we'll do is we'll have some quiet stitch time at the end, and then see how far we can get. Okay. So first couple of comments that I have are on live stream 14, which is where I was working on Sailing Fairy. And 721 Irish. I think it's Peggy. I get mixed up with Peggy and Patty and Patsy. I'm really sorry if I get it wrong. And she says, I missed the live, but I love this piece. It gives me peace. Sailing Fairy does have some gorgeous colours in her. Do enjoy stitching on her. And then Stitching Betty NOS or NOS says, I wish I could get that bag of candy here. Those discs, those flying saucers look good. The flying saucers are a sweet rice paper with fizzy sherbet, fizzy powder inside them. And they were one of my favourites when I was a little girl. And, you know, I mean, the girls love retro candy, retro sweets as well. So, as you can imagine, they did disappear quite quickly. Okay, just move the comments up. Okay. Kathy Dunsmore on the live stream 14 just gives a thumbs up. Hope you're enjoying that content there, Kathy. A thumbs up would tell me so. Saskia comments back on live stream number 6. Saskia's catching up on her frost tube, and it's one where we were talking, or I was sort of, you know, well, I think we were all talking about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle and how things are playing out. And she says, I'm always very careful with opinions about the monarchy and all the ongoings, or even celebrities in general. I don't like how the people of monarchies are talked about. I find it dehumanising at times, very sad, especially when you see what good they're trying to achieve. In the end, they're all still people, and the royal family is still a family. I'd never trust the media with depicting and describing everything correctly. It's a false perspective at best. Nobody but those concerning do know best. Yeah, absolutely agree. It doesn't take a genius, though, even without media, to see the positives and the negatives of what's happening between the two sort of sides of the family. Prince Harry's wife doesn't seem to have the same fervour and depth of feeling about the monarchy as others who have married in, such as the Princess of Wales. It appears that she will try and upstage the monarchy. If you look back over news items and things where the monarchy have done something and done something wonderful, then there is something that comes out from the USA, and it's, you know, generally speaking, in a bid to upstage the British monarchy in whatever way. Successful or not is another debate, but you know, you can't say that it's all coincidental. But there we go. Anyway, she goes on to say, I don't have kids, but I strongly believe that you shouldn't keep swear words away from them, as in teaching them not to say certain things, but rather than teaching them appropriate language in specific situations. Yep, that is exactly how I've taught my girls. They have the power to swear. They also have the power not to, and to use it in the correct context and in the correct situation. Although I don't like them doing it when I'm streaming live, because, you know, it ends up detrimental to my video, and my video will get demonetized for it. And, you know, that might seem like a purely selfish thing, but YouTube is a source of income for me, and ad revenue is a source of income which I need right now. So, yeah, I don't mind them swearing. Just get the context right. Then she says, enough heavy stuff. Thank you for another great live chat, even though it was a replay. Envy looks beautiful. Keep up the good work and take care of yourself. Envy looks even better now. Since live stream 6, it's been out a few times. But I do like Envy anyway, as a piece. She's very popular on the channel. I'm just running this thread through to finish it off. Okay, so on floss tube 14, you may remember it was actually a re-record because I filmed it first off and it was very grumpy, and I watch my floss tubes back before I release them. Sometimes I do it with stitch with me's, but generally speaking, my floss tubes, I watch them back. And I was watching it and I was like, no, I can't put that out. I really sounded like an awful grumpy old woman. And yes, I've been under a lot of stress, but no, that's no excuse to, you know, sound the way I did. So I re-recorded it and mentioned in the video that it's the second time because the first one I sounded like a grumpy old woman. And 721 Irish, again, I'm pretty sure it's Peggy. Correct me if I'm wrong. She says, grumpy is okay. Last week I went nearly 8 days with just a nap or two. I was having an important MRI. I bet grump was the first thing the MRI showed. I tried your husband's videos, and because I enjoy them, this week without an outcome yet, I'm happy. I don't ask, I'm just going with the flow. Be grumpy. Your work is wonderful. And then adds that Sailing Fairy has beautiful colours. I'm not a naturally grumpy person. Don't get me wrong, I have times like everybody where I'm in a don't come near me mood, don't talk to me mood. But I'm not naturally a grumpy person. I'm an empath. I'm a person who looks out for other people. You know, I will always do my best to help others rather than you know, show the side of me that doesn't come out very often. I'd sooner just, you know, hibernate away, yeah, than be grumpy, but there we go. Okay. Sharon Fennell comments on the video as well, my floss tube, and says, fabulous stitching as always. Thank you, Sharon. Your weight loss is great, but this week your face shape has really altered. Interesting. You can really see the loss. I use you as a shining example to my friend who needs to lose weight and is struggling to get motivated. Well done for having a chippy tea on a Thursday. You need a treat and you have the correct balance as your results are showing. P.S. Have you looked back at the thumbnails on your videos? What a difference in you. Well, very occasionally I might get a comment pop up on an old video. And I do sort of tend to have a look and I just think, wow, is that the same person? Because I do look different, and I, you know, I get that. It's the hair, it's the weight, it's the whole attitude, I think, as well. The confidence is, you know, it's back. I'm almost back to the Nicola that I was. So Okay. Linda Loves to Stitch comments on my floss tube saying, love your progress. Thanks, Linda. And then Rosemary comes in saying, excellent news about your weight loss. Keep up the good work. Hoping you will have some video of the big stitch. I'm hoping so too. I have my ticket paid for now. I did that over the weekend. And I'm now sort of looking forward to it. It's I had an email come through last night. It's less than 100 sleeps to go. So yeah, I can't wait to get to the big stitch. Hope, you know, my friend Sarah from Pain Free Crafts will be there. So I was spending some time with her. I know that at least one of you will be meeting with me. That will be Sharon. And if any others of you are going to the big stitch, then please come and look me up. Come and find me. Norma Ferro, again on FlossTube 14, says, loving the progress you've been making on your projects, but especially stitching shelf. And here you go, Norma, here's some more for you. Live action progress. And then on my last chatty stitch with me, which was with the Josephine Wall piece, Rosemary says, hello Nicola, glad to be here as I've missed some of your latest posts. I've been catching up with family. Absolutely no worries at all there, Rosemary. I'm glad you've caught up. Family is very important. Then, excuse me, dry throat, I don't know why. You know when you were younger and you used to go and get an aerosol spray deodorant, and because you were a kid, you felt like you needed twice as much, and you'd spray it and spray it and spray it and spray it, and then all of a sudden you'd have a coughing fit because it hit the back of your throat. That's how my throat feels right now, but I haven't used spray deodorant in years. I'm just wondering if Lauren's had some out before she's left for school this morning. Could be what's irritating me. Of course, you know, spray deodorants are one of those things now that are frowned upon unless you've got a CFC free one. Save the ozone layer. Okay. Sandy says, great progress as always. Well done on a continued weight loss. As you say, it's choosing the right option. Brilliant live again, and there were 52 at one point. I didn't realise it was that many, Sandy, but that's great, and thank you for keeping an eye on that for me. Fantastic, and so happy for you. Thanks for sharing all that you do. Take care and happy stitching. Thank you, Sandy. Yes, I do love my Sunday night lives, and if you've not joined for one, you're missing out, honestly. They're a lovely opportunity to stitch together, to chat. I answer questions, I ask questions, we enable one another, people chat to each other in the chat, and it's all rather good. So yeah, come and join for a live. That's the wrong place. That's better. Then she says, oh, bless Andy, surprising you, definitely a keeper. This is regards to us having a night away in Hornsey, the East Riding of Yorkshire, which is a lovely town. Pleased you both had a good time. Yeah. One of his channel viewers was actually in Hornsey, but didn't want to come and, quote, disturb us, because she felt that, you know, we might just be having that little time to ourselves. But, you know, it's like I've said before, if ever you see me out and about, come and say hello. You know, don't think that you can't. I'm not untouchable. I'm not a celebrity, and neither is Andy. But yeah, it's always good to say hello. Yeah. I mean, usually you'll find me hanging around some craft shop or in a charity shop or something like that, checking out the bargains. But yeah, if you happen to see me, please come say hi. I don't bite, honestly. Although I might have done last week when I was grumpy. Okay. So Saskia is still ploughing through her lives, and we're on to number 7. And she says, congrats and thank you for letting us join you in the finish for Autumn Waltz. Definitely want to see when you FFO it. I haven't done it yet. That's still in the FFO pile. Another fantastic live. Take care. Thank you, thank you, Saskia. Laurie Clark points out an interesting, makes an interesting comment here. I talked about my ads in my videos. I've done this a couple of times lately, so that there's an understanding of how the ads work, and you know, the benefit that I get from it. And Laurie says that if you watch the long videos or ads for 30 seconds, it helps the channel owner. I get up and I stretch or make tea. I love watching your progress and on your stitches. So there we go. So as I said about my ad philosophy, you know, do try and just persevere with the shorter ones, but with the longer ones, as Laurie says, if you watch them for at least 30 seconds before you skip, then it will help me as a channel owner. Thank you, Laurie. Very useful and very good information to know. Just to mark off. Then Daphne Chamberlain comments again on my last Chatty Stitch with Me, and she says, thank you for a great Stitch with Me session. I was working on Monochrome Sloth by Stitching Jules Designs. Underhade 2024. Sal. Hope you have a great week. Thank you, Daphne. I've done a Stitching Jules and I rather enjoyed it. It was the polar bear, if you guys remember from last year. Yeah, Jules has some lovely designs. Peggy 1046 on my last Stitch with Me. Now Peggy makes a rather lovely comment here, and I was absolutely chuffed to bits when I read this one. It really brought a big smile to my face, so thank you, Peggy. And she says, Nicola, the reason why your lives and Stitch with Me's are the best is because you actually stitch and teach. You're an asset to the floss tube community. We're done here. Because of your sincere and no-nonsense approach. I learn things when I watch you. A little tail there. Get rid of that. Thank you for doing Chatty Stitch with Me for those who love the conversing. It's very kind of you to cater for all. Thank you. Thank you so much, Peggy. Having a comment like that really does make it worth me doing what I'm doing. I'm not saying that every comment should be like that, don't get me wrong, but it's a lovely thing for you to say, and absolutely appreciated. Love Nana 21 says, hello Nicole, I so enjoy your videos. I love listening to your stories and tips on stitching and encouraging others about health. I'm trying to lose weight, but it is slow. Well, yeah, losing weight can be a slow process, but just remember, it took a while to go on. It'll take a while to come off. And don't lose heart. If you persevere, you will get there. My stepdad always tells me that. He says, it took you a long time to gain the weight that you did. Don't be surprised if it takes a long time for you to lose the weight. And it's very true. If I could lose the weight overnight, it'd be great, but would it make me happy? No. Would I learn anything? No. Doing it slowly like I have been, I've learned quite a lot. I've learned a lot about myself, and I've actually learned a bit about my body as well, and what my body likes and dislikes in terms of food that are more or less favourable to the scales. And I've also rediscovered some foods that I love. So, yeah, always good. Missy, the lovely Missy, thanks for a lovely video again, and you kept me company with my morning coffee. Best drink of the day, that, Missy. And she says, I love your live because you're chatty, and Stitch, and love the rest of your family to join in. Yep. The girls and Andy enjoy pitching in on my lives. And you know, they're all involved in some way or another with my stitching, whether they are, you know, buying me projects or encouraging me, or, you know, Lauren will very often come in and say, what are you working on today, Mum? You know, Hannah is, you know, getting the crafting bug a little bit, you know, with the diamond painting. So yeah, it is very much a family affair, and we are, you know, we try and be, you know, close knit. So yeah, back a bit now. I think even the girls are like Andy now and see it. If I don't have stitching in my hands, there's something wrong. She says it feels like stitching with a friend in my living room. One day, Missy, I'll come over and stitch in your living room for real. Thank you for all your work doing these videos. It's my absolute pleasure. Okay. Ninja Stitcher says, thanks for the info, re-stitch pics are very handy to know. So on FlossTube 14, I talked about Stitch Picks, which is the charting service that Andy and I do. It's mainly by email, although I do have a Facebook page and group. But it's mainly by email. And the basic premise is if you have copyright of a photograph or an image, we can convert it into a cross-stitch chart. And we do it in various sizes, and our scale of charges depend on the size of the chart. Because the bigger the chart, the more editing work that goes into it. When the charts are made, they are pattern keeper compatible. We also try and make sure that you know, no alike symbols are next to one another. You know, so we are very careful and cautious with the symbols as well, and so on. So if you are interested, then drop us an email to the email that's in the inbox, in the box below, should I say. And yeah, we'll have a look. Okay. So Sharon comments on excuse me, Daughter of the Deep, sits with me and says, hi Nicola, I think YouTube was having a moment with its ads during the week. I was getting ads 45 minutes long, 45 minutes to an hour long. Most flush tubes I had watched had ads 45 minutes to an hour. They were advertising a book. However, this week they appear to have gone back to normal length. Good news. As I think YouTube can sometimes sort of spoil itself, can't it? When it's messing with the ads. Which I don't mind letting them play to support the channel. Then she says anxiety is a horrible thing and sometimes so unlogical. Yes, it is. Sometimes I will wake up in the morning with a heavy feeling in my chest and a feeling of dread that I've done something wrong, even though I haven't done anything wrong. You just can't sort of get yourself out from under that cloud. I suffer with this during my menopause, and when I have a normal head on, it's totally irrational. But when you're in that space, it certainly doesn't feel like that. Yep. That's how it is for me. You know, when the thought gets into my head, it can actually affect my whole physical self. You know, I end up with shakes and, you know, have like a nervous twitch, and, you know, my heart is sort of beating out my chest, and it is awful. You know, and thank God for the medication that the doctor put me on, which does help with the physical symptoms and calming me down. And it is so irrational because sometimes there isn't a trigger. I just wake up with the feeling. But, you know, when I was diagnosed, the doctor said, you know, when you are doing nothing, your body's like, why are you doing nothing? Let's give you something to do nothing about, you know, let's give you something to fret about to get you doing something. But anyway. So, yeah, anxiety sucks. But, you know, one of the key things, critical things in my life to help with it is my stitching. You know, to be able to sit and stitch takes me into a happy space. And if I focus very much on the thread and the needle and the routine of up and down, it's calming. It has that lovely calming effect. Oh, thank goodness I have been getting your name right, Peggy. 721 Irish Peggy. You know, progress always amazes me. I did about 100 stitches yesterday, but my sewing room clutter is getting to me. I just want to keep my favourite projects, way too many, but once organised, I'll feel better. My hip and back are doing well. I'll straighten up this weekend and hopefully listen to your next live. Greetings, Peggy. Glad you're doing a bit better, Peggy. And I hope for more continued improvement for you. Dagmar Brockhoff. I'm trying to catch up with a few older videos before hopefully joining you later today for this live. Breaking both bones on my left wrist was why I started cross-stitching in 2020. Before my bicycle accident, my only hobby was knitting, but that was impossible for obvious reasons for quite a while. Yeah. I started because I saw a kit on the back page of a Sunday supplement, and I begged my mother to buy it me for Christmas, and she did. I was 14. and I finished it by New Year. And I actually managed to find the chart online. It popped up weirdly on Facebook in a group, and honestly, I went on the website it was on. I couldn't put my card details in quick enough because I so wanted it. The original piece was lost many years ago, but I will stitch it again. It was a Kandamar Designs pattern. Kandamar Designs, of course, is very much a blast from the past for those older stitches. And it was a sampler, and it had just lovely like pictures of houses and flowers on it with a verse, and it said, no matter what, no matter where, it's always home if love is there. And it just touched me when I saw it, and I was like, Mum, you have to buy me this for Christmas. I don't want anything else for Christmas apart from this cross stitch. And I got it, and my mum watched me stitch it, and and I finished it, and it was wonderful. And yeah, okay, the top stitches were the wrong way round and all the rest of it. And yes, I had moments where I'd made a mess of it, but it got me hooked. It absolutely got me hooked on cross stitch, because by that point I'd learnt to knit, and I'd learnt to crochet, and I wanted to learn to stitch. I also found, we were clearing out the kitchen cupboards, and Hannah found a piece of it's black work stitching, but the thread is not black, that I'd done as well. And it was a design that came out of my own head. So I think it came out of my own head anyway. I can't quite remember. What I'll have to do is I'll have to try and dig it out and show it at some point. Because it's just been popped in a box out of the way. But when I unpack the boxes to put my kitchen back together, I'll have to show it. Laurie Clark says, damn, I missed your live. Dan, I missed your live. I enjoyed the replay. No problem at all, Laurie. Things happen. And sometimes I look at my clock and I think, yikes, it's 7:25. I really need to set my camera up for this live. So, sometimes even I almost miss the lives. Jeannie Leitner on the live stream 15 says, thanks for your live today. I've just started Heaven and Earth Designs Beachcombers Bounty Max Colour. 25 counts 1/1. First full coverage, and so far loving it. Thanks for everything you do. Oh, I'm glad that you're loving that one. It's the Aimee Stewart, if I'm right, Beachcombers Bounty. Stitching Dreamer was stitching on that. But I haven't seen her post a video again for a little while. I used to quite like watching her videos, especially the very, very long piece that she was doing, the Along the River. I would love to do that. I'm yet to find the canvas. Here we go. and yeah. Leslie says, thanks for another great live, Nicola. So sorry to hear about your run of bad happenings. Let's just hope they've now come to an end and hope you have a good week. Sadly not at the moment, but we are optimistic. I can only deal with one thing at a time. And I will get there in the end. But thank you. It's much appreciated. Okay, Saskia. Hello, I just wanted to say that I indeed returned safely from the dog walk, and very quickly after that exciting fun day in the city caught up to me and I went straight to bed. I got a cute little flush to my face when I heard you wondering about me when I listened to the replay just now. I'm sorry to hear that your week has been tough. Sometimes you have to remind you of how wonderful most of the other weeks are. Yep. And please remember that you have us who are rooting for you. Chin up, and as always, take good care of yourself. See you next Sunday. Thank you, Saskia. Of course we wondered where you were. You know, you're one of us. You know, let's make sure you got home safely and all the rest of it. So, yeah. There's not many more comments now, I don't think, so we'll have some quiet stitchy time, I think. Unless I can think of anything else to talk about. Okay. Daphne says, thank you for the stitch with me. It's helped pass the time on my 6-hour drive home from visiting my best friend in Mississippi. I was also stitching too, and I hope your week gets better. That's dedication, that, Daphne, keeping me, watching me on a drive. And I'm glad that you enjoyed the video, and I hope you had a wonderful time with your friend. Mrs. Miggins comments on my stitch with me with my princess, saying, for FYI, there is a floss tuber called TL Yarn Crafts, and she's showing how to crochet the Tasmania method of crochet. Take care. Thanks, Mrs. M. I'll go and have a look. I wonder if it's Tasmania or Tunisian, you mean? I'll go find out, I'm sure. Sharon says the realm of Middle Earth is great. Well done on reaching a very large milestone on this piece. I hope this week is kinder to you. Yep, Realm of Middle Earth has reached 250,000 stitches. 250,400 to be precise. And I didn't realise on my live stream that I had got to that milestone, but there you go. It happens. And as indeed Mrs. Miggins there says, do you mean we? On the live there was the the momentous occasion. We didn't know. Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations, that is a mammoth amount. And then Mrs. Meekins asks here, being personal, and of course you don't need to answer, why was the property not sorted as part of the divorce? When I divorced my ex, we found out the value. I took out the negative mortgage insurance thing, which was $9,000 at the time, and split it down the middle. When we were promised $100,000 a few years back, I think he actually had a payment of $26,000, which I was very annoyed about. But as I'd been honest with the figures, hey ho, he's a good man. See you in the week, hopefully at the weekend. Hopefully things don't get more stressed. Simple reason that we didn't sort it out at the point of divorce. I was not in a financial position to do so. I'd been a stay-at-home mum. My ex-husband had been going out to work and was in a much better position than I was, because of course after he and I had separated, he had his job. I then had to, he moved out, we split up in the May, he moved out in the July. I had to find a job, and you know, obviously me and Andy had got together by that point, and I had to sort of persuade Andy that, you know, I needed to have this job because he couldn't earn enough to look after our family and his own. And it took me a while to find a job. And of course, even though it was only sort of 12 years ago, getting a mortgage now is slightly easier than it was then. Back then you had to evidence 3 months worth of pay slips, for example, if you were working. Now, certainly for the, you know, with what I know about mortgages, because of what I do, in most circumstances, if you're an employee, you only have to show 1 month's worth of pay slips. But of course it wasn't like that back then. So I had to sort of become in a financial position to be able to settle the finances, which I wasn't. I was looking after 3 children who needed, you know, my time, attention and money, you know, and of course when you've got young children, family life costs a lot. And of course I was paying the mortgage on my own as well. So I just simply wasn't in that place. But I was in the knowledge that I had until Lauren was 18 to sort things out, or, you know, while ever she was in full-time education. However, Andy and I were discussing this and we said, you know, now is the right time. But my ex-husband doesn't, you know, appears not to be particularly willing to, you know, go through the mediation process. And he has just requested that I essentially make him an offer, which is the next step. There are advantages and disadvantages to both things, I'm not going to lie. But I have to see what happens going forward. It's going to be a rocky few months ahead, I feel. It's going to cost me a lot of money, a lot of running around. And let's, you know, just see really where we are. So yeah, unfortunately, because I was not in a financial position, I was not able to settle things then. And by this point, I'd already taken him to CSA for child maintenance because he was refusing to pay child maintenance. And then he had arrears a couple of years ago, and I had to take things up a step further with child maintenance and request an attachment to earnings order, which I think he's probably still annoyed about, which may be why he doesn't want to go through mediation, because I essentially have hold of him by the sensitive bits because of this attachment to earnings order, because he has to pay. You know, there's no, it's optional. He has to pay. And I refused to do a private arrangement with him for the arrears, because he denied that the arrears existed in the first place. And if I arranged to do a private arrangement, what's to say that he wasn't going to renege on that, which would then have left me in an even worse position. So, yeah, I'm just now ready to draw a line under the 16 years of marriage that I had, which was a complete and utter sham in many ways. And the best thing to come out of it, and they know full well, was the children. And, you know, I've got 3 daughters who I managed to ensure were cared for, that they weren't damaged by me and the dad separation, and in fact they actually thrived. There you go. Sandy comments again on my last floss tube. I'm glad the model stitching's coming in for you, so am I, because it's helping no end at the moment. Realm of Middle Earth is looking fantastic. My daughter had to pay for mediation twice, knowing her worst half won't attend. What a complete waste of time and money. Couldn't agree more. Hope things improve for you soon, Nicola, as you don't deserve to be treated badly. I hope you can keep stitching through it. Thanks for sharing. Take care. Happy stitching. I will indeed continue to stitch my way through it, Sandy. The thing that sticks in my craw most of all is that I have to pay £126 for a piece of paper that says my ex-husband doesn't want to go to mediation, which I think is quite disgusting, really. I mean, I know that mediation, that they are essentially a business. I get that. But it does seem that they're profiting off, you know, the distress, really, of others. Because, you know, this has been hugely distressing. And very, very frustrating, to say the least. But anyway. Jane Murray says, everything looks amazing and awesome. Congrats on my last floss tube. Thanks, Jane. Not a lot of work in that last floss tube, but, you know, we got some stitches done, and that was the most important thing. Never go a day without stitching. If I'm not working on these, I'm working on the model. Linda Love to Stitch says, I love seeing your updates. Congratulations on reaching 250,000 on Realm of Middle Earth. Looks amazing. Yeah, I'm really, really pleased with the map and how it's coming out. It does look phenomenal. And, you know, it's only about 30 colours. It's not a lot of colours. And it's amazing, you know, just how a few different colours can make something. Shared it on the Tilton Crafts page. I think it's like 70 something likes on it when I last saw. Esther says, hi Nicola, thanks for sharing your beautiful projects. Hope everything works out in your favour. Yep. And then Sue CNZ says, hugs Nicola. Thank you, Sue. And then Peggy comes in on my last floss tube and says, hi Nicola, would you please monetize your account or set up pay for a coffee? Every bit helps. I'm not keen on having buy me a coffee because I think, you know, as we're going through a cost of living crisis, I would struggle to donate to somebody else, so I wouldn't expect people to donate to me via buy me a coffee. So I would just ask that keep watching the videos and watching, you know, sitting through the adverts if they're short ones, kind of thing, because that helps me more than anything. I have other sources of income, so the buy me a coffee thing is not essential, but as I said, you know, I know that for a lot of people time and money is tight, but time might be something that they can do, you know, a view of a video, a little bit of time that just that helps. She says then further, my mantra, which may be unoriginal, but always here, I've been through a lot, never ever give up. I use it a lot in every aspect of my life. I simply refuse to give in. Stay strong, Nicola. Your work is beautiful and much needed to be seen. It brings me great happiness. Once I get more organised, I will actually sit and stitch with you. For now, it brings light into a somewhat dreary home. Yeah, I use something similar. You know, the never ever give up thing. I use something similar. No matter what I get put through, I will come out stronger in the end. I'll come out fighting. And then Dawn Bucco, I hope I'm saying that right, also comments on my last floss tube, says, happy Wednesday, Nicola. Over the last 3 winters, I've become a total believer in the good to come into my life. Believe that good will appear, and it will. That's the only thing I'm holding on to there, Dawn. I do hold on to that the good will come. I see how far you travelled from your first video, and I'm filled with admiration for you. I don't mean to be over personal, Nicola, but you like the new you very much. Don't let the junk from your past step on that. Don't let anybody believe that the joy in your life will carry you through, and it will. You will be my nightly chat. Your stitching shows your joy, your love, and your forward movement, and I'm in awe. I need to meet you at some point and have you show me how you stitch so fast. That's the next tutorial that I'm going to be doing there, Dawn. And with such beauty, you're in my thoughts, and I know you will come out of this all right. Have faith. Yeah, I'm doing a few chats there myself, Dawn. I have to have faith. I mean, what else is there? I just have to hold on, and that, you know, goodness will prevail. It's been a tough life for me since having my children. My ex-husband, I don't talk about, you know, my first marriage apart from the fact that it ended. But my ex-husband, he worked away. He was never at home. So that homely support when you've got a young family just was not there. He opted to be of the attitude that the woman can be at home and raise the child, the man will go out to work. And he didn't participate an awful lot in family life when he was at home. I get that, you know, he may have been tired, you know, from working, and I have a degree of understanding for that, but also parenting is quite exhausting. And, you know, at the end of our marriage, it was fair to say that he didn't know the children's likes and dislikes, their shoe size, their school uniform arrangements, what the teacher's name was, what the favourite thing was about school. You know, various, you know, the little things that us as mums would always know. There were just 3 children that were his. That's it. I mean, do tell me if you feel I'm being a little unfair, but for me, parenting, it's about 2 of you agreeing to have children, bring them into the world, and parent them together. And it felt very, very one-sided. So yeah, it was difficult. But I have to have faith that things will get better and go forwards, because if not, I think I would be in a corner rocking and not having very much faith in life. Anyway, so the next comments start with my last stitch with me, so I'm going to leave comments there, because Envy came out on a stitch with me, but I am just going to carry on stitching for about the next sort of 15 minutes or so, and it will be a quiet stitchy time. So yeah, just enjoy seeing the progress. Okay, so that gives us a nice juncture to leave the Stitch With Me there. So I've now completed 480, so minus the 140, so it's 340 stitches in this session today, which I'm very happy with. And lots more of this lady's skirt coming in there as well. So just going to leave this video with my final rewards. Where did I get rewards from? My final notices. 3 videos coming up on your screen in a moment. If you've not watched those, please do go take a minute and have a look. My schedule is, as ever, FlossTube release on a Tuesday, Stitch With Me's on Wednesdays and Fridays, and a live stream on a on a Sunday evening at 7:30 p.m. I beg your pardon, UK time. So if you can join me for that, it would be very much appreciated. But when all's said and done, thank you all very much indeed for watching. Do take care, happy stitching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.